Jeudy conversation?
I am.
All right. Everybody's trying to figure out how to add the next piece to this Cowboys team.
Okay.
DeAndre Hopkins is the hot name because DeAndre Hopkins. Here's why DeAndre Hopkins.
But you told
is
me it's not going to happen.
Okay, here's why he's the hot name. A, the Arizona Cardinals have put it out into the world that they are willing to take a number 2 or a second-round draft pick for him. B,
Mark that.
yeah, the Cardinals are willing to take a number 2. B, DeAndre Hopkins does a video with Des Bryant in DFW. And those are the two pieces of evidence that connect the Cowboys and DeAndre Hopkins. And now everybody's like, we got to get DeAndre Hopkins. I would love to have him. And my understanding is he would be willing to restructure his contract. I don't know how willing the Cowboys are to say that they want to restructure whatever it is or go through the process of negotiating restructuring that contract with him. I just don't know what their desire is for that. Other than, do we want to add a really good receiver to our team?
Yeah.
And so yesterday, and evidently this goes back to last year too, the Cowboys were saying, hey, let's talk with Brandon Cooks. Let's talk with the Denver Broncos about Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
The asking price we saw yesterday is a first-round draft pick. And at 26, I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of okay with that because 26 is a really low draft pick, but it's still the first round. You can get a premium player there. However, I went to, Kevin, I know you love
Did you go to Walter Football?
I didn't go to Walter Football.
I really like Walter Football.
I like Walter Football too, but that's not the place I went to.
Okay.
I wanted to know how these players have performed over like the last 3 years or so.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so what I did was I went and I found the combined seasons from 2017 to 2022 on 538.
Okay.
And just to say, hold on, 538 stupid. These are the top 3 receivers.
Really helpful for something.
Let's actually, hold on, 2019. Let's go 2019 to 2022. These are the top 3 receivers from 2019 to 2022. Michael Thomas. That doesn't make any sense. A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, and Devontae Adams. Would you agree that those guys?
That's a pretty good representation.
Pretty good at the top of this.
Yeah.
As you scroll down, CeeDee Lamb is in the top 30 as a pass catcher. So they're like Dallas Goedert, George Kittle, Travis Kelce are involved in this too. CeeDee Lamb's top 30. Would you give up right now? Would you give up a first-round pick for CeeDee Lamb?
Yes.
He's a top 30 receiver or pass catcher in the NFL over the last 3 years. I'm scrolling. I'm still scrolling. And I get to 68, where Jerry Jeudy is.
That's not good.
Around the areas of Rashard Higgins, Christian Kirk, who had a really good year last year.
I like Christian.
Isaiah McKenzie, Elijah Moore, Dalton Schultz.
Oh, hey.
Are you giving up a 1 for Dalton Schultz?
By the way, some clever person out there, I didn't think this was really clever, said, hey, this is Dalton Schultz. Did you block me?
Well, he probably didn't block anything.
No, I would not give up a 1.
But he'll try and catch a ball. Austin Hooper, T.Y. Hilton. Well, you got T.Y. Hilton for like a 3-day contract last year.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up a number 1 for Jerry Jeudy. Now, this is where then the conversation turned to maybe he's in the 68, 69 region. Nice. Because of his quarterback, which I get it. Drew Lock, not a good quarterback. I've been saying that for years.
Sure.
Last year, Russell Wilson was not a good quarterback. Kind of were on that front of, wow, this is not going to go well.
Can I tell you something just real quick that's oddly related to cards since we're at a card shop? Is I was looking through some of my cards that I have at Russell Wilson downtown, and I've got everything like ordered in terms of value, and I was like, I do not want to look up the value of that.
Russell Wilson from
yeah, because I know I'm going to have to shift it way up in the box, and I'm like, nope, we're just going to leave that be.
So people are like, maybe it's the quarterback is the reason that Jerry Jeudy hasn't been good. And you know what? I can agree with that because I don't think that Drew Lock is good at football. But for everybody out there that's like, Dak stinks, you think Dak's going to be the factor that changes Jerry Jeudy? Is that if that's the case, and you think Dak can fix it, then let's go ahead and spend a 3. I'll spend a 3rd-round pick on him. I cannot make a case, though, to go spend a 1st-round pick on Jerry Jeudy, and even more, and at some point that contract's going to be up. And are you really willing to do that? So I'm not in this game of Jerry Judy's the one that I need to go pursue at this point.
Yeah.
It might be something that Cowboys are interested in, though, because he was high on their board before. You know, that he wasn't. They only got him at the time at CeeDee Lamb that year because CeeDee Lamb fell in their lap. They kind of thought a receiver would fall in their lap. They just didn't know which one. And then all of a sudden there it was, so they got CeeDee Lamb. I do want you to go back to the page you were just on.
Oh, yeah.
Because I also want to ask you this. Go to the section where it shows their comps. Do you have that area? Market value. Go to the market value section. Okay. And it should show.
I'm on SpoTrack.
It should scroll down just a little bit, and it'll show comparable receivers: A.J. Brown, D.K. Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, and Deebo Samuel.
Is he comparable?
You can scroll down a little more and look at their statistical comparisons, and I don't think they're very close in a lot of different areas. And that's where
they're not.
And so for market value, this is what's interesting to me. SpoTrack has their market value as he should be paid like those wide receivers.
Despite the fact that he's more than a catch lower than pretty much all of them, he's got about 15 to 20 yards less per game, more than a catch lower per game. About 15 to 20 yards per game lower, and yeah, that is very odd to me because that was going to be my question is, does 2 for 15.5 do anything for you? Like, that would essentially be the contract that you're inheriting. This is always the thing that makes me nervous, by the way, is somebody texted in and said, okay, I'm a Broncos fan. You can have Jerry Jeudy for free. I don't know if they're just using hyperbole or not, but the point is, like, that is not what you that's not what you want to hear, right?
There are a lot of expectations for him. A lot of expectations for him to come save the franchise. And, again, I get it. You're not going to be that great whenever you have Drew Lock throwing you the football. I totally understand that side of it. But at this point, you also have to understand the value for your player is low. If you're Denver, and you're the Cowboys are trading, the Cowboys, aren't going to be trying to trade away something great anyway. They're in the mode of, hey, how do we get this 5th-round pick for a 5-time Pro Bowler? That's what they just accomplished. They're going to continue to try and do that. Now, my question to the Tolos out there is, what if they don't find that diamond in the rough kind of trade or that kind of move, and they have to wait for the draft, and then they never get a receiver in the draft, and you're stuck with CeeDee Lamb, and you're stuck with Tolbert, and you got Dennis Houston, and that group with Michael Gallup. That doesn't seem like it's going to satisfy Cowboys fans, but you're also not willing to give up the one for Jeudy at the moment.
See, and the thing is, I actually think there is a potential compromise in there because right when the draft rolls up, that's when draft picks are the most valuable. I think you could – it doesn't have to be Jerry Jeudy. I'm just using him as the example, right? Mm-hmm. I think you could downgrade to a second for Jerry Jeudy because they have their high ideals now still a bit more than a month outside of the draft. But once you get to the draft, those picks are uber valuable comparatively to like at other points in the year. And I think you could get that value down. So personally, I would be okay with making a move closer to the draft when draft picks are valued so much because that's the thing, it's right in front of you, right? It's not like an abstract idea anymore. You can look at that 2nd-round pick you're getting and going, we're going to get one of these 2 or 3 players, and you're like, okay, I would trade Jerry Jeudy for that if you're the other organization. And so I think there is still an opportunity there, but that works both ways, right? Because what happens by the time you get to the draft? The Cowboys have done the same thing. They're like, oh, man, if I'm giving up a 4th, I'm giving up one of these 3 or 4 guys. And then that stings a little bit more than the abstract concept of I'm giving up a 4th round. You know what I'm
if you're sitting there in the 1st round and you're looking and Kevin Bijan Robinson continues to fall.
Sure.
And then Denver calls you and says, hey, guys, we understand the Bijan's right there.
Yeah.
Do y'all want Jeudy right now for that 1st round
and
pick?
See, and like that is a harder sell for them because then I'm like, no.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because and like I get caught up in it just like everybody else because we were looking at some meme yesterday and it had like the Cowboys starting skill position offensive players and DeAndre Hopkins and Bijan Robinson were both on the list. And in my brain I'm like, you could do that without dealing with like the other implications for the rest of your team. But I was really excited about that. All right, Cory.
Yeah, there's potential for this though, Kevin.
Okay.
The Cowboys did just use a comp pick to get Stephon
Yes,
Gilmore.
they did. That was an excellent deal.
Jerry Jeudy's contract, I believe, Kevin, would be done next year.
Yep. I think you still have until May for the 5th-year option.
Uh-huh.
So it would be 2 years, 15.5.
If you don't pick up the 5th-year option,
then I don't know.
You get the 3rd-round comp pick for him if you put a first tender on him.
I don't. I mean, if he's going to get that kind of money, that Spotrac is projecting, then you would.
So there you go.
So
you know how the Cowboys love to get those comp picks.
You would trade a first out for a 1 year or a second. 1 year, $2.5 million to take the third round comp pick. That's not my favorite strategy.
And a go for it season.
But yeah, I could see the Cowboys doing that.
I'm not doing it, but I think there's some options there.